Greetings and welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. Of course, I moved over there and now my lighting is all messed up. How'd that happen? Yeah, let's crank it up a little bit more. Go blind in the bright studio lights here, I guess. I don't know. The bright studio lights inside the van. That's right. Well, I hope you guys are all doing well on this wonderful Friday. We're broadcasting from a parking lot somewhere in Maine. Ooh, kind of fun. We're on the drive again. On the road again. Being on the road again. All right. Oh, well, how's everybody doing? And are we live? Because all of a sudden I'm getting spinning wheels on my live preview. Blink twice, everybody, if you're out there listening. I'm reporting fine on OBS. There we are. All right. Is it coming through poorly? I can't really tell. Let me look at my settings. Sounds good. All right. Well, hopefully we're all right. We are, sometimes the bandwidth right here is really amazing and super fast, and sometimes it drops out a little bit. So who knows what's going to happen? Got here last night. It was super amazing. Got here this morning and I could almost get 1 Mbps. And now we're back to like 10, 15 last time I checked. So there we have it. Anyway, what'd you get? Broadcasting from parking lots, right? And all the people surrounding me are going to be like, what in the world's this psycho doing? Yeah, it's hanging out over here again on the preview. I'm just going to rely on you guys in the comments to tell me if something's gone goofy. We have cinnamon stick tea today from Bigelow. Still a little too hot, but that's okay. Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and dive on in here. Jeffrey's on. Update last week, Carol thought it was retraining courses. This week it was George Floyd. Someone is stopping the police. Aren't there laws again? I can't figure it out. We need to only put guns in the hands of the police. Abolish all the police. What the? Yeah, this is why gun sales are going up, people. Up. That's what we need in our society is more sane, competent, trained people with firearms. We do not need to disable the law-abiding citizens, disarm them under bureaucracy. Because I promise you, just because you make it illegal, the criminals are not going to be handing them over. Trust me. They're like, yeah. They're over there. The criminals are lobbying their criminal partners in Congress, being like, make them illegal. Make them illegal. We want to increase our success rate in crime. Are police being forced into waiting for permission to do their jobs? Yeah. It was the Border Patrol agent who was off duty who violated the police commissioner's rules and went in and saved the people. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Going through a few Christmas items. A girlfriend dropped off closing her Christmas store over property taxes and property and business taxes being sky high. That's been a big problem lately, is that property taxes for homeownership are going up so high. If you don't pay them, of course, they seize your property. So we really don't have ownership. But you have to understand, here's a lot of why that's happening. In the more conservative states, the property taxes have generally been lower, but then all of these people from blue states come in, and many of them have left the blue states because they didn't like the policies there. But then they get into these states and the property taxes are like, what do you mean we don't have homeless shelters? What do you mean we're not handing out crack pipes? What do you mean we're not doing this, that, or the other? And so they start pushing for all these bills which require more money, which raises property taxes. That's kind of what's going on. Kind of nutsoid, but y'all are voting for it, I guess. Brandon's approval ratings have crashed almost as much as Mr. Pelosi. Yes, indeed. Lenovo running fairly well, still running into a little glitch called logging in with Linux Mint. Really? How's a Lenovo not able to log in with Linux Mint? Watch out with Arch using the Zen kernel 5.18. The fans will not turn back on. Ooh, that's bad. Might have to fix the problem already. Silver Ventures, greetings. Might have to improve the speaker from more than 2 watts. Hello, Greg. Greetings. Looks good here. Seems fine. Good evening, friends. Hello, Juan. Not I. All right. Standard show this week, privacy, security, a little light on the privacy news. And I am trying I'm trying a few news aggregators, a little bit different than I've done in the past before I go to the individual sites and then branch out from there. I'm trying news aggregators this week. And so we might have a few different things from a few different places. Who knows? Never know. I'm not sure if it helped the quality of the news, or maybe there's just nothing going on in the news except, a bunch of weirdness going on. Hello, Paul. Greetings. All right. Let's go ahead and get diving on into our privacy news. And I need my affiliate. Where's my affiliate? There you are. All right, let's get started. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the Privacy and the Security editions. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern at Standard Time if you'd like to catch the show live. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. Of course, we did cover this first article in the supporter stream last night. So if you did not catch that, where we had some discussions about this branched off on apps, let's just go ahead and wrap it up for the people who did not catch that one there. A popular coffee business, that being Tim Hortons, was using its app to track user locations. They want to know your every movement in order to amplify its customer experience. So what was going on is the app was taking locations every few minutes. This guy, after looking into this stuff, he said that the app included GPS coordinates over 2,700 times in 5 months. The app logged his geolocations whenever he visited his parents' farm in rural Ontario, while being boarded on a flight in Toronto. Even when he checked into a Winnipeg hotel for a customer's wedding, Tim Hortons' app was keeping tabs. He felt the app was invading his privacy without even being honest about it. In his public share, the Canadian regulators felt that Tim Hortons was a matter worth looking into. The app didn't disappoint at all because it tracked copious amounts of geolocation every few minutes. All for free donuts, guys. You guys need to stop giving up basic privacy for free donuts. We did a deep dive on this discussion looking at the dangers of many phone apps yesterday. So go ahead and look at that. But the idea here is that all these restaurants are going to give you free apps so we can get through free coupons, all those type of things. No, they're just logging your location and collecting a lot of other private data. You should never, ever, ever use apps like this on your devices. If you want to go to their website to place an online order, first and foremost, are you that pressed for time you can't pull into Tim Hortons, walk in, get your coffee and donuts and leave? That takes all of about 2 minutes, guys. It probably takes you less time to park your car at Tim Hortons, since you're going there anyway to pick up the order, to walk in and place the order and get it and walk out. It probably takes you more time to do that on the app than it does going into the store, unless there's massive lines or whatever else. But that is what Tim Hortons is up to, and you can assume that every app for every food chain is doing the exact same thing. Well, Edge Canary gets built-in features for sharing files and notes across devices. It's a trap! It's a trap! Guys, do not use these features. The idea here is that what Microsoft is doing is they're syncing this to your OneDrive account, and it's going to allow you to easily share files. Kind of like Linux Mint put Warpinator in, except Warpinator, what that does is it requires both computers or devices to be available on the network at the same time, and it will send them directly peer-to-peer to each other. What this new file sharing application is doing is it is taking that information and it is storing it on your Microsoft account, which I will remind you, Microsoft has access to everything in that account. There is encryption keeping things safe going from your computer to that account, but once your files land on Microsoft servers, they can do with it whatever they want to do. And the idea here is to get, much more convenience. Convenience is always what happens with these things. It's much more convenient for you to drop the file in there and then just easily grab it on your phone or your tablet or your other computer, whatever else. to make it easier, but this is just giving Microsoft more of our data. And that's the last thing we need to do. So stop doing these things. This is not yet rolled out in Edge, but it is a feature that is coming up. So Edge Canary is the upcoming changes, basically the beta test channel for the Edge browser. And a private DuckDuckGo browser still allows Microsoft trackers. Yeah, they didn't tell us that in the fine print necessarily. So, of course, since DuckDuckGo uses Bing as its search provider backend, it turns out that when you were using DuckDuckGo all this time to avoid the evils of Google tracking, sure, they were blocking, Google trackers and a bunch of other trackers from the web, but they explicitly were not blocking Microsoft trackers, giving Microsoft all of your search information. This was part of their deal, of course. Yes, DuckDuckGo, you can use our stuff, sign the dotted line. And on that dotted line was that they are not allowed to block this. Now, if you dug through, extraordinarily small print in hidden places on the internet, you could probably find this. But these are some of those reasons why DuckDuckGo somebody's shooting at the duck. The duck is going to get hunted to death. I'm telling you guys, because we've had the scandals about curating search results. Got to deal with that misinformation after all. I'm a red hat wearing white conservative guy. Well, can't listen to him. Got to spread that misinformation. That's completely factually true. It's just misinformation because Jana told you so. But you had that situation. There were a few other scandals in the middle of it. And then now it's known that they've been handing all this data to Microsoft. Of course, they're trying to work a deal to get away from this contract. This is why, by the way, Brave Search went ahead and did their system without using the external things. They started using some of the aggregated search results, but they never got that deep into it as DuckDuckGo did, and then they developed their own algorithm. DuckDuckGo has never done that. They've always relied on Bing, and that's always been their approach. So the other concern people have had about DuckDuckGo is it is also all run through AWS. So Amazon can see everything in there as well. If there's data or not that Amazon can get about your search histories, probably not, likely not, but there is still that possibility because everything is reliant on external Amazon contracted servers. All right, so the post here goes into some of these things. They say, yeah, they admitted the agreement allowed Microsoft to provide ads next to search results. Microsoft doesn't store ad click behavior data or its profile to users, but it doesn't mention trackers sending data through LinkedIn and Bing. So they were disclosing some of this information. They were not caught not disclosing others. So at this point in time, if you're still on DuckDuckGo, you should probably switch to something else. If you're not using Tor, Start Page is generally okay. If you are, I've been migrating away from Start Page myself. I just cannot stand that. Are you a human? Captcha check. Explain your IP address and what you're doing. You are a privacy-based search engine. It's none of your business. I pushed this search query. Give me my damn results. I mean, that's insane. I've been using Brave Search lately. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the company behind Brave. In fact, there was something I commented on Twitter. Tech Hut put some information out on Twitter. I think it was somebody that contacted him about it. He put it up on Twitter, commenting it wasn't a big deal. I kind of disagree. I dissent from that view because basically what Brave Browser was doing is they were basically buying postal ads and literally mailing Brave ads to people's direct mail campaigns. And the problem is that you can actually track some of that stuff. You can actually de-anonymize some of the data of people who looked at it and people who came on to whatever else it was. Frankly, if it's perfectly private and secure and safe, if nothing else, it's tacky for a search and a web browser company to be mailing a paper flyer to everybody in some given blanketed neighborhood. That just screams of tackiness and desperation. So I'm not a huge fan of Brave either. I'm just saying as we have to constantly be adapting to our search engines, DuckDuckGo seems to show itself to be completely compromised. And if the duck goes belly up and dies, I'm not going to be shedding any tears over that. Well, you can help support the channel with our affiliates. Today we are highlighting Linode. You can actually go into your Linode account, and with my affiliate link there, tlm.li/Linode, you can get $100 credit, good for 60 days. You can go to that account and you can create your own Sirex instance. So you can create your own search engine if you really want, which I've done that before, and I played around with it for a little bit, and it was kind of fun. My big hang up is I couldn't get it to set as the default. I'm sure I probably could if I figure it out, but Sirex was a really nice option, something you can do on Linode. Of course, there's lots of other things you can do on Linode as well. So there is that. You can use that affiliate code tlm.li/Linode, and that'll help the channel out. Well, guys, let's head on over to security news. All right. All right, let's see. Good eye, mate. Not a good week for cats this week. I'm telling you. Well, my kitty stopped drooling around Saturday, so he is okay. I'm thinking that he just hurt his mouth is what my guess was. If you were on the stream last week, you know the kitty was drooling for a couple days, and I thought maybe he's sick or something, but he's okay. He's back to being all playful and stuff, and so you know. The spin is in. Greetings, Spin Viking. Once tried to install Mint on a ThinkPad and got a kernel panic. Whew. All right. Remember that gas prices are 100% Biden's fault. We're in serious trouble if he doesn't start allowing more. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, it's all Putin's fault. No, it's not, you demented idiot. That's what happens when you shut down half the oil production in America day one. For what reason? You want to do this? This is hilarious, okay? I'll have to try and remember to get a picture of it in the morning before I leave. Where I'm parked. So I'm at this parking lot, and there's woods on either side. And the side on this side, it's like north to south of the woods. So literally, there's a block of woods facing south, and only 10 yards beyond the woods are a bunch of solar panels angled to the south. They literally have a field of solar panels in northern Maine, pointing to the southern sky in the shade of a forest. What? I mean, at least push it back, you know, about 20, 30 yards. But they literally have a solar field right in the shade of a forest in northern Maine. It's like you're not going to get power off of that. I know. I actually ran my engine charger for a little bit today because my power is, it's not horribly low, but it's low enough that, yeah. Because it was rainy all day. The most I ever saw today, amp draw, I think was 3 or 4 amps today. Not a lot. Solar is certainly not sustainable. It's good for off-grid applications. It's good if you are aware of your power consumption. It is absolutely horrible if you're this electricity whore and you do not know how to control your power consumption. This is why in the van here I have multiple tiers of computers for different purposes. So I can plug things in, you know, basic light internet searches and basic text file work like web design. Yeah, I got a Raspberry Pi, draws all of 15 watts. For the streaming computer, I have to have something bigger and beefier. So this one does draw a lot of power off the system, but I really only run it when I have to. So in fact, the video for tomorrow, I did half of it on the laptop, mostly because things were processing. But yeah, absolutely. The main source for cyber news is Bleeping Computer. There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I might have Bleeping Computer on my new feed here. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings. So it's the Lenovo thing. I don't know. I've never had problems with the Lenovo. Thoughts on OpenWRT? I have not used OpenWRT personally. I use pfSense, but if I did have to get a commercial router, I would certainly get one that supports OpenWRT, and I would use that. So I've not played around with it, but if you're unfamiliar, it is an open source router firmware that you can flash onto several, not all, but several commercial routers. So since I'm using a custom PC with pfSense, I have not had a chance to play around with OpenWRT. Document, don't plan on leaving. Gaming is a bit faster than Arch, which was unexpected. Very cool. Yeah, free donuts. Just give us all of your data. That's like when the people were giving up all the information required to hack into their bank accounts for a Facebook cookie. Tech News mostly get it Forensics and Hackaday. There you go. They have 4 apps on my phone: Context Messenger, Photo, Videos, and Camera. There you go. Kernel 5.18 has a lot of DRM built in. Ooh. Yeah, I actually put a note to look into all of this, and I did not get a chance to look into it. That's kind of crazy. Still haven't replaced my phone since it's death by a frozen bootloader. Uh-oh. We call Winchell's to get our order of donuts and the seniors in the complex. I sneak in my strawberry jam deli for myself. Ooh, nice. Never use an app if I can avoid it. Use the browser instead. That is it. Is Warpinator like Dropbox? I'm having a heck of a time trying to get Dropbox working on my second drive on both the Mint and Slack. Oh, you must be the person that sent me an email. I can't remember if I've sent you an email back. My apologies if I did not. I absolutely abhor Dropbox, so I can't really help you. I would just tell you don't try and use Dropbox. It sucks. It is a giant data-hungry company that is simply seeking to have all of your data, and they can snoop on anything you do, and they have not shown any reason why they wouldn't. So no, what Warpinator is, it's a peer-to-peer local network file sharing application. So you can install it. It's available as a flat pack. You can install it on any computer on your system, and you can transfer files back and forth. There is an unofficial Android app as well. So you can get it on F-Droid and a few other places, so you can share between your computers and your phone. The Dropbox alternative I would use is Nextcloud. Which works perfectly fine, better than Dropbox in my opinion. But how to get it working on your second drive? I couldn't help you. I don't imagine why it wouldn't work. Being as that primarily it's a web-based application, there might be a client, desktop client. Read the release notes for 5.18 and I will see. Yeah, I wrote it down as a note to look into it. And I must have accidentally thrown away the note. Let's do Linux kernel 5.18 DRM. Leave a note to have a look at it. Use sync for anything. Do it manually restoring files offline. Word about the DRM. You could use Linux Libre. Oh boy. Great. Now we have to fork the kernel to avoid DRM. What's this world coming to? Canary passes out around people who ate too much Taco Bell. Yes, indeed. Good reason why I use Privacy Badger, Bugs Bunny voice. Darks. I can't do Bugs Bunny's voice. Sorry, I haven't seen Bugs Bunny in years. No, what is it? What up, Doc? Is that? I don't know. Duck season! All right. Already switched to Brave Search anyway. Maybe the same issue. All right. Yeah, I don't know. They are using their own algorithms. They're not using anybody else's. So it is a legitimate different search engine. DuckDuckGo is Bing. Startpage is Google. Theirs is actually their own thing. We use LibreWolf browser on Linux and Firefox focus on Android, tablet, and other browsers. Yeah, like I have a bunch of different browsers for different purposes because it's good to keep things separated. To expect from a virtue signaling hypocrite like Weinberg, like we learned from every tech corporation. Yeah. How arrogant reporters act when someone with actual factual knowledge calls them out for their lies and slander the person of their own teleprompter trumps that person's own experience. Yeah, right. Remove Firefox from my Mint install. Install LibreWolf. Let's see. Pizza. How's it going there, Pizza? So Pizza apparently uses Dropbox more than I do. He says that it's way better. All right. Should replace reporters with parrots. That's right. The news agency says this. The powers to be say that. DuckDuckGo is just Bing with a coat of paint. Yeah. What self-hosted search engine is he suggesting? Searx. Is it SEARX? So you can self-host that on your own. So you can use Searx, the globally hosted one, or you can create your own. Hosting Searx instance now for my Linux distro be the default. Very cool. You turned me into a humanoid lizard with wings. No, sorry. You have been denied. You are on the permanent block list. The cat has declared you are permanently blocked from transformation. Is there any way to make Firefox use Sirex or Brave in the search bar? Brave it does. Sirex, Pizza, if you can answer that question. That's the one reason that I didn't keep my install. I could not get it working. Granted, I did not spend a ton of time into it. Aren't sellers supposed to face north? No, they're supposed to face south. Because you want them at the angle of the sun. Most optimally, whatever your latitude is, the solar panel should be at that general angle, because that's going to give you the perpendicular to the sun for the longest period of time through the day. Since the sun is in the southern sky in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere, yes, you face them north. Reporters tell the truth almost as much as Norwegian Blue when it is resting. I go. We have our own version of Sleepy Joe down here. Oh boy. Found out there was a petition to ask Intel to open source FPS. There you go. Sleepy Joe takes vacations between naps. Yeah, he did head to Delaware this weekend, right? We got to pass this most critical legislation ever. I'm going to Delaware. Okay. Have some more brand pudding, sir. And let's say you have your own versions of the Galactic Empire ruled by the Sith down there, yeah. Mint did install to the ThinkPad on the second try. Our Democrats scare the pants off the Sith. I don't go near that. Let's see. Isn't Freenet and Onion Share able to share files? Onion Share, yes, absolutely. I have not seen Freenet. But yeah, you can do Onion Share, I think up to a gig file, which shares it through Tor. So it's anonymous sharing through Tor, which is fun. Yes, I am that guy that sent you the message, and no, I didn't get a reply, but that's okay. Okay. Yeah, I get like in easily about 50 or so emails a day, and sometimes I'm just not up to date. I did mean to reply, but I didn't have any actual answers to give out at the time. I'm going to support the current thing. Let's see. Any chance you can do another video on creating apps for PinePhone? Ooh. Sirex instance, if you want to use that. Okay. The extension to add custom search engine. Okay, so there's an extension you can do. So that's promising. Okay, LXLE is back. LibreWolf as the default browser. Hello, Moonbase Alpha Grays. Greetings, greetings. You just missed the first section of news. We are apparently very far behind, and our comments are going crazy today. That's kind of fun. Haven't had a good hefty comment show lately. Very good. For me, when it came to adding Sirex instance to Brave, you first need to add it to the site search, then hit the 3 dot. Late but here. Greetings. All right, let's head on over to security. So first up, a U.S. college VPN credentials end up for sale on a Russian crime forums. So people over there in Russia, as they're being kicked off of everything here, yeah, they can just log into from your local universities instead. Of course, universities use a lot of different services. They use VPNs. In fact, I think every university I've ever worked at, if you needed to do anything, they all had their own VPN credentials. So this isn't too out of the ordinary for them to have. But apparently, a bunch of those VPN credentials were leaked out onto the dark web, and the Russians picked them up, and so now you can buy VPN credentials on Russian servers. Come on, they need to bring up their revenue somehow, but that's kind of frightening, so keep an eye on that, and if you happen to work at a university cybersecurity, you might want to double check, make sure yours aren't there, or maybe revoke and fix them all. I don't know. Krebs on security, when your smart ID card reader comes with malware. So the idea here is that a lot of companies are issuing these cool, amazing badges for all your different employee stuff. You got to have this. Well, you could actually get a card reader to use your IDs at home or whatever else. You could go online, and for only $14.47 on Amazon with 1 day shipping on Prime, you can use this Sacco DoD military USB common CAC smart card reader compatible with macOS, Windows, Linux, horizontal version, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you go to this guy and you need the drivers, you can go directly to their their specific company. This isn't random stuff online. You can download the drivers, and then he ran them through some malware stuff and found all sorts of malware in these things. So maybe it's just better not to have a card reader at your house, and certainly not buy one from there. But thanks for contacting us. It says, we noted your issue. For the details, issue may probably caused by your computer security defense system, as it seems not recognized by our used driver, detected it as malicious or virus. Oh my lord, that is a hilarious thing. I mean, this guy's like, hey, you Krebs on security, your computer security must not be good. I kind of wrote the book on security, you moron. Basically, they put together all of their stuff from, open source malware, whatever else. So don't get these card readers for your own personal stuff. Just, use other things to log into your house or whatever else. Well, new Windows subsystem for Linux malware steals browser auth cookies, so Linux is secure unless you're running it on Windows. So basically what's happening is by utilizing some shell commands, your security authorizations and tokens can be passed over into the Linux modules through a modified Python application. And basically the Linux can be exploited as if you're root, I guess. I didn't understand all of the fine details of this, not being a Windows user and certainly not using WSL. But just know that WSL is becoming a major target for hackers right now. So just be aware of that if you are using it, and read up on this so you can understand how best to mitigate any issues. All right. A new Windows Search 0 Day is giving Microsoft another security headache. So, of course, the new search thing will, you do a search on your basic computer and it will throw it out into the web too. As if we hey, Microsoft, can you at least let me do the searches on the web on the browser and let me just do a local search on the search bar? I really don't need to be searching for a file on my computer and get a link to a CD on Amazon. Okay, I just don't need. Did anybody ask for this? But it's so convenient. Yeah, it's so convenient that it caused a 0-day breach. Basically had to do with what the information is you put in there. So if you put certain stuff in here, then it would actually run and execute the commands and cause some serious vulnerability to your Windows machine. Well, that's always exciting, always what we want to know. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page, subscribestar.com/switch2linux. You can jump on over there and support us there. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Alrighty. Just joining in. How's it going there? Is it Danaman? How's it going there? Had a fantastic time in Maine, my friend. I lived there for about a decade up in Waterville, Winslow area. Yeah, it is nice. To get to site search, go to settings, click search engine, then click manage search engine. Yeah, I could not get any string of code working using that. Anyway, might be more comments because notification actually worked properly. I haven't been getting notified. Is getting to the point where the only way to stop tracking is to get a van, 2 cats, and live out of that. I know, right? I mean, I can still, in theory, be tracked, but at least I can toggle the button on my internet and my cellular just goes dead. Let's see. It's getting to the point where the only... Okay, let's see. Late, hello, got stuck in the back rooms. All right, how's it going there, Anthony? Thought FBI was internal investigations. Yeah, so FBI is basically the federal police. Then there's Homeland Security, which is like federal police, the federal police thugs. CIA, which is international police, cannot operate locally. And then, of course, there's my van, which is the FBI surveillance van. Although, as I was wandering around a Walmart the other day, I found an imposter. I found somebody else actually also was using not my exact moniker, but pretty close to it. If I can find screenshots on this thing. Yeah, I have no earthly idea where screenshots. I know. Oh, there we are. There we go. We got FBI van 1207. I was parked next to him, and just for fun, I went and parked next to him. So he had FBI van, and I had the FBI surveillance van. And I'll tell you, any criminals in the area were just clearing out of there. We're like, I think the FBI's onto us. I still need to get like a big magnetic sticker that just says plumber. I just need to do that sometime. Stalk out in front of somebody's house, just write plumber next to it, turn on the Wi-Fi that says FBI surveillance van, and see if I can make anyone nervous. Fellow Orthodox Christians who merely want to raise families in peace have their jobs threatened because they happen to be born Russian. Yeah. Innocent Japanese Americans being locked up during World War II. Because, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? The atrocities that happened under FDR in World War II, they literally rounded up Japanese Americans and put them in internment camps. It was horrible. How many MS vulnerabilities have dropped this week? There were a few. Apparently there were enough that it did cause some issues. Just so much level 1 news. Yes, I do like level 1 news. I do catch level 1 news quite regularly. The only ones I don't generally watch, when they do the live streams, I'll sometimes get a chance to catch them, but sometimes it's just too much all at once. And if I had the timestamps to go in between comments, I might get through the whole thing. But, other good tech shows I recommend. I don't watch a ton of other tech shows other than that. I mostly just read up on tech news. I'm using Windows since 3.1, very quickly losing faith and abandoning them. Show switched to Linux 25 years ago. There you go. Yep. Waiting on a postal scale and label maker. They got lost if they tried to decipher my handwriting. Uh-oh. Feline Bureau of Investigation. That's right. That's right. Does YouTube work with the Tor browser? As long as you are on a fast enough connection, yes, it does. It's not explicitly blocked, last I knew. The problem with Tor is you could get lower bandwidth connections, but it just depends on what exit nodes you're on. Otherwise, does not. Do you follow True News? I've not seen True News before, so apparently I do not. Should I look into True News? Let me write down True News. All right, I will write it down. All right, so we'll have a look at that. All right, next we got busyness. Let's get down to the business of busyness. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the business and the SillyVille edition. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you'd like to catch the show live. Well, we're going to dive right on in. First two Linux stories. I am not a fan of HP. I hate HP. I refuse to buy HP products. If HP is the only thing left on the shelf, I will walk out of the store. I will not buy them. Why? Do I think they're bad computers? Maybe, maybe not. But when I was a starving graduate student and writing my dissertation, and I had to buy an updated computer right around the time of Vista, and HP shipped me a computer with without the proper amount of RAM to run Vista. It was running 500 megabytes of RAM when the minimum system requirements were 1 gig, and the computer never started properly, never worked properly out of the box. I sent it back to them. They're like, this computer looks like it has been dropped. I'm like, it has not been dropped. But they refused to honor a warranty on a brand new computer. So, HP, I tell everybody, do not buy HP. So I will not buy HP. That being said, HP has released a new Linux laptop. This one's actually running Pop! OS instead of Ubuntu. So I can get behind that, and I can get behind the fact that it's a Linux computer that's close to $1,000 and not excessively expensive. Because yes, when we all think Linux, we think, let's buy thousands of dollars of computers. No, if we need Linux to take off, we need to have somebody who will build a Linux computer that is absolutely good enough to run Linux that doesn't cost over $1,000. I haven't paid more than $400 for a computer in years. And they're all really good computers, too. We don't need all of the absolute latest and greatest to showcase Linux, guys. We should be showcasing Linux on the crappy processors that Windows barely works on to show how good it is. But anyway, hey, at least we got our price point down to just over $1,000. And it is a good computer for what this is. What's that? It's a Ryzen 7, I think. Ryzen 7 Pro 5850U. Like, literally, release a computer with like a Ryzen 3 for a couple $100 and show people how good Linux is. Of course, this is like a lot of the other Linux-based computers. It's designed for developers mostly, things like that. It has 1.9 to 4.4 gig clock speed, integrated Radeon graphics, 2 sticks of 8 gigabyte DDR RAM, so it's 16 gigs of RAM, upgradable to 64. And it has 1 terabyte PCE. Let's see, 1080p monitor. So it's overall, it's a very good computer. And of course, their Meta key just has a Meta key. It doesn't have a Windows key. That's pretty cool. So it's good. I can kind of get behind this, but I won't be buying it because screw you, HP. But if you do, let me know how the computer is. Also, if you have an old iPad laying around, this is, I think, an iPad Air 2. Anything with the Apple A7 and A8 base chips, some people have figured out how to get Linux working on these now. So if you have an old iPad laying around that no longer gets Apple updates, this is Linux booting up on an iPad Air 2. And so if you have one of these laying around, you might be able to get some Linux running on it. He got Linux version 5.18 booting it on the old one. Maybe that's because of all of that DRM stuff that I'm hearing is embedded into there. I don't know. But anyway, if you have one laying around, look into that and see if it's something that's good and viable. Well, next we go over some Google. So Google hits back. It claims Gmail inbox filters are biased. Basically what's going on is some conservative people have looked at this and said, hey, why is it that my people who've signed up for my mailing lists are not getting my emails? And after a research has showed that more than 50% of emails originating from conservative people tend to land in the spam boxes, whereas those of Democratic-leaning people tend to be delivered. Very interesting. And so when questioned about this, Google writes a post that basically gives them information about how you can improve your sending things, like, make sure you're using a validated domain and all these types of things that has nothing to do with anything at all. So this is literally like Google was just caught censoring things based on your political ideology, and their response is, read this blog post that we're not doing this. These guys just don't know how to use email right. Yeah, sure. I completely think about that. So there you have it. Google may indeed be censoring, and this is why I'm not a fan of Gmail. Well, the U.S. is about to get serious about EVs. No, they're not, TechCrunch. Are you smoking something? Did you get one of those free kits down in Atlanta? I don't know. But basically they're saying Americans largely ignored electric cars. So here's what this is based on. In economics, there is a 4-point growth curve to adoption of new tech. And when you're first doing new tech, I'm going to try and do this backwards so it's forward for you guys. So when the first early stage is something, you get what's generally, I believe it's called the pre-knee phase, where it's very, very slow upstream. And then a lot of people start adopting it, and then you get this fast asymptote. It goes right up, and then of course it slows down again as the people reach critical adoption, and basically now we're just getting replacement numbers, not new people getting new things. So the place the companies want to be at as they're analyzing these things is right at that point, right before the pre-knee, because there's little competition, but a lot of demand. And so that's kind of where companies want to be at. So this is research that suggests, and they're talking about the S-curve in here, and they're saying that, hey, the number of people that are buying electric cars is absolutely going up. I got news for you. This is not going to be a viable thing. There's a few reasons. The first reason is people are going to find out very soon that electric cars, we do not have the infrastructure to run them. The second thing is when when 5% of our population is running electric cars, our electric grid is going to crash, and nobody's going to be able to go anywhere except those of us still running gas engines. The third reason is that the cars do not last long. After 10 years, you have to do basically the price of 3 used cars just to replace the batteries on your old 10-year-old car. They're not sustainable. And then fourth, we do not have the natural resources to build all the batteries to put into all these smart cars. Okay, this is a pipe dream of insanity. And by the way, they're still just as polluting as the gas cars. It's just the difference is they're not polluting right when you're driving them down the road. They're polluting them when you're charging them at your house instead. So it just shifts. It shifts all of the carbon footprints just to different places. But the whole world is full of ignorant NIMBYists. And so that's what tends to happen. And so this article's like, oh, yeah, everyone's taking off EVs. I'm sorry. I know a few people that are excited about electric cars, but most people I know are like, I'm not buying an EV. Not a chance. We don't have the infrastructure. We can't charge them up. Our electric grid can't take it. Right now, people in Texas are being told to turn up your thermostats because air conditioning is causing pressures on the electrical system. And I think it's somewhere in the Midwest is like Indiana or Illinois or something. They're warning that this summer they are going to have rolling brownouts. Maybe we should all, get off the grid a little bit and learn how to live with a little bit less power. Maybe it wouldn't be an issue. So this article is making the claim that EVs are coming, but I think that this is going to be a growth curve that dies pretty quick because the cars are simply not sustainable enough. Well, is Apple about to launch its very own search engine? Some people are guessing Apple is rumored to be quietly developing its own search engine. Makes sense about people doing, with them trying to insource all their data. If they have their own search engine, they can monopolize it with a lot of different ways. And using the data that they have on people, they can actually do a pretty good job of doing the algorithms. This points to the type of stuff that they've been doing for the last few years. Of course, my concern is it free or is it going to cost you like $100 a month to use? I mean, it is Apple after all. A whole bunch of people are like, it's Apple search. You're going to pay anything to use it. Yeah. So I don't know. But we'll see what happens. It's still in the spinning around the rumor mills. So we'll see what happens. And Cruise can finally charge for driverless robo-taxis in San Francisco. So you can now get in the backseat of a car without a driver in it and pay money to do so in San Francisco. Guys, the training videos of these is not looking good. I'm telling you, this is frightening stuff. So just be aware. There's a little bit of map where you can use it. I think they're limited in speed down to like 25 or something. 30 miles an hour. Cruise will be operating passenger services at a maximum speed of 30 miles per hour between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. on selected streets in San Francisco, adding another 1.5 hours to the current service. Company will need additional state regulatory approval to charge members of the public for driverless taxis. So guys, this 2030 dream is moving in. You don't need cars. You just need to pay us everything. And you don't need to own a car. It's so pricey. It's so bad. Let us own all of the cars for you. Then, of course, you'll be limited to going to certain places. So there you have it, guys. It's starting to happen. And on to our final story. We talked last week about Broadcom buying VMware for like $60 billion. Elon Musk should have solved world hunger for the $40 billion for Twitter. I think Broadcom, they should be responsible to solve world hunger and something else. Solve world hunger twice over. Maybe we should solve world hunger and give the rest of it to Ukraine or something. I don't know. But nobody's making that argument because it's not somebody wanting to turn leftist Twitter into something of free speech. But instead, Broadcom basically said, yeah, we're going to acquire VMware. Yeah. And before the ink is even dry, they're like, yeah, we're going to turn this into a SaaS, baby. You think that free personal license is going to go away? Oh, you bet it will, buddies. You guys using VMware for free on your personal stuff? Oh, I wouldn't expect that to stick around any longer. So of course the idea is we can't be selling these forever licenses for a certain amount of money. Oh no, this is going to hurt us. We need to go ahead and do a software as a service and start charging more and more for this. I mean, that's kind of the stuff that that we're doing now. So there you have it, guys. If you're using VMware, and now there's possibly some longer term implications before we wrap this video up. I think that one of the factors we're going to see is a lot of your big hosting companies will use VMware to power their virtualization systems. This may definitely cause a rise in hosting costs. I know when cPanel, they went from they basically had a license where you could have as many cPanels on it. They got rid of that, started upcharging people. My hosting fees doubled. That's actually why I now actually do my client hosting on Linode, and I'm paying cPanel. I am paying for one of these stupid SaaS services, but it actually ends up being, it's actually a lot cheaper for me to pay cPanel directly for the SaaS license and do the backend infrastructure on Linode. It makes more sense for me to do that than to pay any other hosting company. That's why I still do recommend A2 hosting for people who need a simple hosting account, but I'm not personally using them myself. It's because the price has doubled because cPanel went all sassy. Well, VMware is going sassy, and that might actually cause a radical increase in prices of hosting again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, again, go buy a t-shirt, shop.switchedtolinux.com. We have t-shirts, we have bags, we have hats, we have mouse pads and things like that, like my Linuxy mouse pad that my green screen messes with. But you can find all sorts of, hey, even look at this, baby onesies with the alien in a tinfoil hat on it. That's awesome. But anyway, you can find those over at shop.switchedtolinux.com. Now, guys, let's head to SillyVille. All right. Rob Braxman. Oh, is True News Rob Braxman's channel? No, wait. I don't know. Dark Diaries by Jack. Uh-oh. Best file format, ext4, NTFS. I don't get into all the different file stuff. I use ext4 just because it's what's used on everything around here. I know everything can read it and write it. NTFS, I don't generally use NTFS anymore. Of course, that's good for Windows and stuff. If I do need to jump back and forth, NTFS or FAT32 are good that are cross-compatible with Windows. So FAT32 is cross-compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. So if you're doing something on something that needs to be shared between a variety of different things, like a flash drive, FAT32 is better. NTFS, if you're sharing between Linux and Windows, NTFS makes sense. I don't have Windows computers anymore. I'm using for any form of production, so I don't bother with that. I've been using ext4 on a few drives, but I don't like that as much because ext4 will have will carry permission stuff with it, and with permission stuff being carried over with it, then what we could actually start to see is if you're using different differential user accounts, it could not transfer the file quite as easily one way to the other. So you new IT job state in 2 weeks. Very good. Be licensing enterprise system sucks. They won't honor such warranties. 16. Hold on a second. I reached down and did this, and I felt something. Thought it might be a tick. So I want to double check, make sure I don't have a tick floating around somewhere. Give me a second. I don't see one, but I'll keep looking every few minutes. Don't need a tick on me or the cats. Problem with the Northeast is there are ticks all over the place, and so I'm trying to keep an eye out for that. And he said it's like one of those instant type of thing out of the corner of my eye. So it's like, ah. Okay. Well, we look good for now, but I'll check again. I saw one the other day. Pulled one up the other day, flick it down. Like, oh, it's ticking the van, going down an interstate. Finally see it, so I pull over the side of the road to douse it in alcohol. Oh, boy. Let's see. HP licensing and enterprise system sucks. That they won't honor warranties. Never buy HP. Yep. I just won't buy HP anymore, and I won't recommend them either. Hello, Joe. Greetings. Lenovo and Dell are much better. 9% of my emails won't end up in my inbox at all. Other day, some asked me if GNU was Unix, and I said no, GNU's not Unix. Yep. GNU's not Unix. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Gas was at $4.99 a gallon, and because of current administration, hates fossil fuels. Yep. Never trust Dell. They have hidden monthly fee added to the price with no way to uncheck the box. Well, I buy Dell usually, but I don't buy them directly from their site. What is the monthly fee for? By the way, that would be illegal to have a monthly fee that you can't uncheck. XFAT is good. Won't let me create a chime shift stamp. Don't know if that's normal or not. All right. Old fossil in the White House. Yep. Thoughts on GNOME developers looking at porting GNOME shell to smartphones? I've played around with that. With it, I forget the name of it specifically. I played around with it. It's fine. I thought that the GNOME made more sense as a tablet or phone issue than a computer issue, so I'm okay with that. I don't have any problems with it. Could be that more people are marking their mail as spam. No, it wasn't that. It's Google's Gmail has a automatic spam detection system, and it filters those things into a junk mail folder that almost nobody who's not a tech guy can find. They've literally hidden their spam folder. So when you have to tell somebody, hey, can you check your spam folder for this, that, or the other? They don't even know how to do it anymore, to my understanding. Are they polluting when they're inside? For the most part. What, electric cars? So in my house and only charge during the daytime. I know where my electricity is coming from to charge my Prius. There you go. Congratulations, no kids. An early childhood educator, so I know the feeling kids have us. YouTube clip of an EV bus engulfed in flames within a few seconds from a short circuit. Yep, that can happen. Every environmental disaster can be tied to Sleepy Joe's skinny dipping. Yep. Someone gave me a compliment by stating that I was to the right of Attila the Hun. There you go. I don't support Musk as much as some people do because he pays for his employees to go to other states for abortion and believes human will be better with computer integration. Yeah, that's problematic. Can solve world hunger this year, then there will be more people starving next year. Paraphrase from John Campbell in editorial. I prefer to Jesus better. The poor will always be with you. Just a thought. My wife and I would have had kids, but we cannot, so this is as close as we have. All right. Rob Braxton's channel is Rob Braxton. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I generally don't use flea and tick collars. It's never been a problem before because my cats are exclusively indoors. Getting so bad, I hear the gangs are going to start doing drive-bys on bicycles. Gas just hit $5.45 today. Yesterday was 40. Ew. Or drop my Gmail email now because of your presentation. Well, I mean, transition away from it. That's the thing. Don't delete it immediately, but transition away from it. Gamers Nexus or Linus Tech Tips on their Secret Shopper videos. So it's a subscription fee they have on by default. Even if you uncheck it, they still charge. Yes, it's like, oh, that's exciting. I'll have to go check that out. How do you like the updated version of Peppermint 011 OS? I have not looked at the latest version yet. I think that they do have a new version out, I heard, and I have not had a chance to look at it. I'm looking for movement again. Hold on. Yeah, see no movement. I should just get a bunch of chickens in the van. All right. Where did you get the red hat ball cap? A friend of mine sells, used to sell mainline computers, and he had a bunch of them. What emails would you suggest? I host my own emails. So buy a domain name, buy a hosting account, host your own emails. All right, let's head on over to SillyVille. So first up in SillyVille, Spain presents a customer service bill that forbids the use of these stupid labyrinthian talking machines where you call in and be like, hello, tell us what you need in a few words. I don't talk to them. I just spam numbers until they're like, let me get somebody for you. Which, by the way, I think this is also something that's illegal, but Verizon, even at a corporate store, you cannot go in and cancel your Verizon anymore. I think that does run afoul of some laws because there are consumer laws now that say that as easy as it is to set up a service, it has to be just as easy to end the service. And I went in because I had that separate Verizon line attached, piggybacked onto my internet line, but the prices of everything keeps on going up. And with Verizon increasing their administrative fees, I said, there's no reason I need this stupid thing. So I go into the corporate store, not a contract store, but a corporate store, say, hey, I need to cancel this line. Well, you can't cancel the line. You got to call this number. Took me an hour and a half, and those morons finally got the stupid thing shut down because of all the computers. Well, now in Spain, in Spain now, guys, I did not start recording. Let me finish the story, then I'm going to restart. I forgot to hit the start recording button. So now in Spain, they're doing that. All right, sorry guys, I have to restart the SillyVille part. First up in SillyVille. Can I talk to a human? Spain prevents a customer service bill that is going to forbid companies from using the labyrinthian auto robo telemarketing calls. Basically, as you are now calling in to any given company, you have to have an option to get to a human without having to talk to it, push a bunch of buttons, or otherwise get in there. And they're adding extra options to say that they have to pick up the line. I think it's within 3 minutes. You actually have to be on the line with people. Now, of course, this is kind of problematic. I mean, there's literally not enough people. You have a heavy call volume. That's one thing, but I think it's still an advantage over all this nonsense. All this nonsense there of, waiting around for these stupid machines and then talking to them like, tell us what you, in a few words, what are you doing? You know, they're collecting your voice prints, right? That's why I just sit there and spam numbers. That's kind of what you do. But that's what Spain's up to. Very good. Maybe we need that everywhere else as well. And the rest of these just go weird downhill from here. Ars Technica, which is worse for the soil, combines or dinosaurs? Combines right now because I see a shocking lack of dinosaurs in the world. Okay? There's a shocking lack of dinosaurs in the world. So definitely combines. But of course the idea is, what is worse for the planet? Is dinosaurs worse for the planet or are combines worse for the planet? Surprisingly, Ars Technica came to the conclusion that dinosaurs were worse for the planet. Why? Well, I mean, they're so much heavier than a combine, and they're distributing their weight on only 4 legs, and of course they have to pick up one of those to walk. I completely forgot to grab pictures. I wanted to grab pictures of this, but I actually was up at the dinosaur stomping grounds in Utah, where you see like there's like 2,500 something dinosaur prints in this section of rock. So it's kind of cool to go in and see, and some of them very clearly look like dinosaur prints, and other ones are probably not. So you have that going for you. But basically they're looking at what's worse. So of course money went into this study to figure out what's worse, dinosaurs or combines. Waste of government research being is that, we really can only make a guess about the dinosaurs, and T-Rexes are not exactly going to be tromping down our soil anytime soon, so why bother wasting the money and the resources? Well, going back to prehistoric times again, the mysterious ancient giant eggs down under were laid by the Alcee demon ducks of doom. Any Alcees watching today that have heard of your demon ducks of doom? Of course, I had to include this story because how can we not talk about demon ducks of doom? So basically, they were giant chickens, 440 pounds, and they laid cantaloupe-sized eggs. And of course, it's guessed that they went extinct because people ate all those eggs. Because who would not want a 2-egg omelet out of a watermelon-sized egg? I mean, that's awesome. So here's bone samples of this guy. Of course, it has a less impressive real name, Thunderbird. No, it's not a Thunderbird. It's a demon duck of doom, guys. But after doing some research, they figured out that there were these giant eggs down there. The giant eggs were apparently coming out of these demon ducks of doom. And I'm going to keep saying that because I love saying demon ducks of doom. All right. And on to our final one, bad kitties. The Germantown grounds cats to save rare birds. So there's a rare bird. They have a mating season, and for some stupid reason, these guys put their nests on the ground. And so this German city where these birds are endangered are telling people that they have to not allow their cats outside because they will possibly take out the birds while they're nesting. So all of the kitties in this Germantown have indeed been grounded. Sorry, kitty cats, you must stay indoors. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. Supports all of our different channels. You can head on over there to help support us. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Alrighty. Movement check. No movement yet. Those tragic first connections, right? It's like the first responses to seeing something like a bug or a tick or something, you just fling it without actually, if I should have just looked down, like, oh yes, that's what it is. Let me get rid of it properly. So now I may very well have flung a live tick somewhere in the van. Oh well. All right, let's see. Let's run emails on a Linode with a domain. Tom set it up for me. Yes. You're using ISP config, which works. Started on Linux by Red Hat. Is manual? You got the hamster? What? Not everyone can host their email service. So would you say Proton Mail is good? I haven't used it personally. I would trust Proton Mail before Gmail or other ones like that, for sure. Left Verizon a couple years ago. Verizon costs too much if you go over your limit. Yeah. An automated record button, not that easy. Proton Mail is one of the best free email providers out there. I wouldn't email my mother-in-law with it. Yeah. Dinosaurs poop would be fertilizer. Yep. When you start winding down using Google, they'll unleash the spam and won't block it even if you report it. Yeah. A few farmers using manual combines and cows to refertilize the ground. Yep. Dinosaurs equals politicians, so I'd say dinosaurs. There you go. Do giant ducks of doom bring back DuckDuckGo? Nice circle. I know, right? Time to impose mass exodus from that town if you love your cats. Yeah. Demon ducks of doom. Demon ducks of doom. That's right. Rob Braxman said Proton Mail was not good. Says the guy whose website does not properly work with SSLs. I checked it myself. He has an SSL installed on his site, but if you explicitly go to his site in HTTP version, there is no server redirect to HTTPS. So you can land on his website and interact with his website without an SSL because he has not configured a server correctly. Just saying. Try it out for yourself. Misheard that if they were grinding. No, they're not misgrinding the cats. They grounded their cats. Their cats are not allowed outside. See, kitties like this would not be allowed outside. Right, kitty cat? You should stay up there, though, because I'm about to feed the kitties. And there might be a tick running around. All right. Kitties are mostly ground unless you have anti-gravity kind. That's right. No free email provider is good, but some are better than others. Did Proton Mail get hacked? Interesting. I did not hear that. I had a cat that caught hummingbirds mid-flight. Didn't see one in flight for 3 years after she died. Several email accounts, but I like the fact that 2-to-1 has F-Droid and Linux desktop apps. There you go. Proton Mail is as open about warrants as they can be. I'm unsure of Swiss law, but they have a page on every interaction with law enforcement they can disclose. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and feed the beasts. Hey, kitty, you want to go back up to your kitty bed? Because I'm about to feed the beasts. I'm about to feed the beasts. Yeah, I'm about to feed the beasts. I'm about to feed the beasts. Come on, come on, buddy. Go get him. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come up. Okay, stop moving the camera though. People don't want to see that side of you, cat. Now we're going to do you. Yep, you. All right. But you can check the news told by former 3-letter agency workers. Have safe travels. Double mooner. Uh-oh. The cats are both like, hey, which butt's better looking? All right, guys. We'll wrap this up here today. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon, we're talking about Titan Linux. And then we will be back. We will not be back Monday. We will be back on Tuesday. We'll catch you guys then. Have a good one.